Today we're going to visit the cheese shop, Santa Barbara, home of absolutely fabulous cheeses in the middle of downtown Santa Barbara. Let's see if we can find the owner, Catherine Graham. So they have wines and she's around here somewhere. Their gorgeous cheese shop with all their lovely condiments and sensational cheeses. Catherine is here somewhere. We're looking for Catherine, and there she is. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Catherine. How are you?
Good. Welcome to Cheese Shop Santa Barbara.
We are thrilled to be here.
We're thrilled to be here. We've caught you setting up on a very grey
Yes.
Santa Barbara morning.
Seems a little.
So, can you give me a little background on how you got started in the food business and when you opened the cheese shop?
So, my husband Michael and I originally opened a cheese shop called Say Cheese back in 2003. So, we're actually going to be celebrating our 20-year anniversary.
20 years!
Business.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
that's amazing.
I remember opening day.
I know, it's gone by so quick.
20 years, holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you get started in this business?
It was definitely not the most well thought out plan, I would say, at the time.
I think we all just jump in, don't we?
Exactly. I think we all just kind of go into something because we love it, which was definitely the case with Michael and I. We just had a true love for food and really wanted to open our own food business. And Santa Barbara just seemed like the perfect place for a cheese shop, given the wine country that's so close by, and just people travel a lot here in town, so they understood the concept of a cheese shop. There were a lot of people who didn't think we'd make it, but fortunately, 20 years later, we are.
Now, are you from here?
So I grew up down in Los Angeles, but went to school at UC Santa Barbara.
Uh-huh.
And then left for about 5 years, and then we both moved back here explicitly to open the business.
Oh,
Yeah.
to literally open the business?
Yep, that was the plan. We had already written our business plan, and we were, coming back, and we immediately started looking for a space. So
Wow.
It took us about 6 months to find the original location, which was a lot smaller than this one. It was
Yes,
about
this is-
a fourth of the size.
This is quite the shop.
Yes, it has definitely grown over the years. There's no question.
Okay, well, so the retail business and everything has been pretty badly impacted by COVID. And in Santa Barbara, we sort of had a double whammy because we had the fires and then the mud flows and 2 years to recover from that, and then COVID
hit.
and then COVID hit. So
Yeah.
how did you deal with that? I mean, what was sort of the, COVID was pretty devastating for so many companies. How did you guys manage? What did you do?
I think that we owe the most gratitude to the community here in Santa Barbara. They have supported us through all these ups and downs, which, as you just mentioned, have not been insignificant. But we have managed to kind of survive all these chaotic events. The Thomas Fire was by far the hardest hit that we encountered as a business, and we did have to close our cafe, which we had opened about 3 or 4 years previous to that.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of the reason why the Thomas Fire was so devastating for us in particular is because being in food retail, the holidays are your busiest time of year. So it's kind of when you make most of your profit and the cash flow that you need to get through the first quarter. So that completely disappeared the December that the Thomas Fire came through. So that was kind of the start of a big shift for us, and it kind of continued through COVID. We did end up having to close during the COVID pandemic for a bit, but fortunately we were able to reopen with a new name. We did have to kind of restructure our business during that time, so we did have a new name, but
Yes.
through all of that, the community has really supported us.
And you're still here. It's
Yes.
so
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes.
So grateful.
Yeah.
For her.
So when is your 20th year?
That will be December. This December it'll
It's
We'll look out for the party.
yeah.
A little fondue.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been so.
So, Catherine, what does a typical day in the cheese shop look like?
So it kind of depends. If you are working on the cheese counter, which is what I am setting up right now, this is the retail side of our business. The business is kind of split into two main parts: the cheese shop retail, which is obviously 5 days a week. We're busiest on Saturdays, but we also have a catering kitchen that we do signature party platters in. So the catering department is a different staff. They have kind of slightly different hours, but everything is very synergistic. We all, kind of rely on each other.
Well, it's having seen some of your platters and the cheese platters, which are totally delicious. So how many cheeses do you carry? Do you think?
So we carry at any given time, I would say about 120, if I had to guess.
Wow.
It's actually been quite a while since I've counted. We do increase that around the holidays, which is, as I mentioned earlier, our busiest time of year.
Mm-hmm.
But we found like 120 is kind of our sweet spot.
Okay.
We do try to kind of have a core selection, and then there's like a bunch that we change up.
Like seasonal.
Rotate, exactly.
So all of these cheeses get put away every day, every evening.
They all go into our walk-in.
Uh-huh.
At night, that is actually not a requirement. They could stay out on the counter in the evenings, but it does lengthen the shelf life if we put them away at night.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So, what was the appeal of cheese as a business, as a foray into business?
So, it's really just based on like our love of food, and we happen to have had a great experience when we lived in New York City for a couple of years, and we lived across the street from one of the best cheese shops in the country called Murray's Cheese.
Ah.
Called what?
Murray's.
Murray's Tree.
Murray's
Okay.
Cheese.
Yeah.
It's been there forever. It's kind of a New York institution. Even in the cheese industry, Murray's is considered an institution of sorts. So yeah, they were a big part of our inspiration for wanting to go into cheese.
Did you did you have to? Is there a school for cheese?
There is actually a certificate that you can get from the American Cheese Society, and they run a whole course for cheesemongers.
Uh-huh.
I actually don't know if that was up and running when we opened our shop. We were pretty much the first cheese shop between Los Angeles and San Francisco to open on the Central Coast. And
Wow.
so it was kind of a big deal, which is I think why a lot of people weren't sure if we would make it.
There are too many people who love cheese in this town.
Right.
Right? Everyone loves cheese. Who doesn't love
In this
cheese?
world, actually.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like cheese is a worldwide love.
I think
Well-
one of my things that I'm so grateful for is everybody always assumes that I got sick of it, or that I do get sick of eating cheese, but I don't.
No. Too many
No.
to choose
So-
from.
Oh, no,
Too
that's
many to choose from as well.
Exactly.
I think you can never run out of
How
cheese.
can you get sick of eating cheese? I don't think that's possible.
I know. Well,
Okay.
I've always heard if you worked at an ice cream shop, you get tired of eating ice cream, but luckily it does not apply to
Yes,
cheese.
it doesn't. So, what do you think has been the biggest challenge about working in the food industry?
I think that the challenge working in the food industry is always going to be staffing.
Oh.
Finding people who are really passionate about the product. And obviously we're very niche, so we have like a whole training program because we don't expect people to come work for us to know everything about cheese before they start working here. However, it's hard to find people that want to do something that's so hands-on and very customer intensive. That can be exhausting for some people at times, but the people that thrive here really enjoy that interaction, and they really kind of appreciate developing those personal relationships, and really that's kind of what sustained Michael and I this whole time.
Well, I think staffing's been a huge problem, particularly since COVID.
Yes, yeah, it was not easy in this town before then, and it's certainly not easy now.
Yeah.
How many staff do you have currently?
So we're at about 12 people total, yeah, and we'll add a couple more for the holidays, but that's kind of where we sit mostly, is about 12.
Okay. So, what is the one thing that you don't like or really didn't like doing that you have now come to love?
Yeah, that was a really good question. Really was working on a slicer. And I
Oh.
think this is a very common feeling.
Yes.
It's a very intimidating machine, and
Oh, where's the
it just
slicer?
seemed,
Can we see?
daunting. Yeah, we'll put it together.
Okay.
Do that. Do
Nerve-wracking laugh there. I have had the mishap with the slicer.
Right.
Yeah.
I find, okay, I'm just going to pan over here. I find,
Yeah. Do you want me to?
I
set
find
it up?
that the machine that slices the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, those to me are.
Yeah, that's exactly. They,
But now you come to love it? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I actually do kind of love it now.
You have healthy respect for it? There's healthy
Exactly.
respect for each other?
I mean,
Respect
this is
for this machine.
this is just.
I've also come to appreciate how difficult it is to slice prosciutto very thinly.
Yes.
When you master it, it feels really nice. It's a nice skill to have. But yes, it can be a very intimidating machine, and I think I just didn't enjoy it at first, but I've kind of
Yeah,
come to
it's
embrace
pretty.
That's a great answer.
That's-
That's what I was expecting.
I wasn't expecting that either. It's a fairly. You've had a run-in with this, Sandra?
I lost a couple of fingertips. And
Oh.
may have passed out because of it.
No, really.
Yeah, this was trying to clean it.
Yeah.
And I was, I took it apart and I stupidly took off the guard with the blade to get even more in-depth cleaning. And
Right.
it
Oh.
was not.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have asked that question.
I know.
That's
Yes.
given me the
Cleaning
complete.
is very, very important when it comes to the
Yes.
machine.
Right, and
Yeah.
I was not slacking and I got a little bit too enthusiastic.
I make Michael train everybody on the slicer. He's got it pretty down, and we don't only train them to use it, but also how to clean it.
Yes, very. Okay, I think I'm going to walk away from the slicer right now because
Okay.
that's
Okay,
sort of.
Miles, I know you don't want to be in the video, but you could be walking around in the
I
back.
just,
Yeah.
can I set up?
Yep.
So-
I'll continue putting on the cheese if you're okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
then the peacock where you probably noticed.
So what's the food or drink that you love that you won't admit to eating or drinking?
Michael loves to make fun of me because I'm known for buying Hershey chocolate bars. Which
You're in a safe space, don't worry.
I know, right? Which he thinks is such.
You know, everyone has their own
I know,
little.
it's just one of those little comfort things that I just love. Hershey chocolate bar with almonds.
Okay, so, all right. Well,
But
speaking
I
of,
also appreciate very good chocolate.
I think a lot of people's favorites are things from childhood. You know, we have these.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got all these fine ingredients, but I actually love a dairy milk Cadbury's chocolate.
Right?
The lowest
Yeah.
intimidating chocolate. But give me a dairy milk and I'm a happy woman.
Customers that will admit to still eating grilled cheese sandwiches with Kraft singles because that's how their mom made it for them
Yeah.
as a kid.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
like,
It's.
that's okay. You can still do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, well, speaking of things that we like to eat, what's always in your fridge at home? What are the top 3 ingredients and what would you make with them?
So I have to admit up front that I am not the cook in the family.
Okay.
My wonderful husband Michael is the cook. So
Lucky you.
He
Yes.
does the bulk of the cooking in our family. Not that I cannot cook, I just don't do it very often, and I'm not nearly as good at it as he is. However, I always laugh because in the early days of our shop, we would often get home after a long day, and we would have no Parmesan
Oh,
in our refrigerator, and it was the most infuriating thing because we'd buy the entire wheel, which is like 85 pounds on average, and yet we would have no Parmesan in our house.
So-
now I always make sure we have plenty of Parmigiano Reggiano in our house because it's one of those cheeses that you can use on everything, makes everything taste better, in my opinion. The other 2 would be some ingredients that we started using, or Michael started using in cooking at home, that we found all these great ways to use them, which are harissa and capers.
Ah,
Yeah, I feel like those are like two ingredients now, or two products we always have in our fridge. and
okay.
add them.
Harissa, capers, and
Rice dishes. We saute
Parmigiano.
shrimp in the harissa. We put it with chicken.
Ah.
Yeah, pasta. We just use it, both of those ingredients a lot.
fantastic.
Wow, I love the harissa. I need to have them in my fridge.
I know.
So, if you were stuck on a desert island, potatoes or bread?
Bread.
Bread.
Bread. all
And
the
why?
way.
Bread and wine, is that what you
No,
said?
I said, I said, and why? Why bread?
I just am definitely a bread person, and bread and cheese go great together. Not that potatoes and cheese do not. They also
Respect.
go really
Yes.
well together. And I feel like, given my Irish heritage, I should pick potatoes, but no, I'm just always a bread person. Like,
I love
give me
that.
a piece of toast, and I'm so happy.
I love that. Well, good stuff. There's nothing like good bread, is there?
Right?
It's
just-
true.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, if you had a fairy food mother,
Oh, yes.
what would be your wish for your business?
Oh.
Just in case there's a fairy food mother
The fairy food mother.
watching this in the ether.
Yes. Oh. That. Oh. I would ask my fairy food mother to run my social media account.
Oh.
Yes, because I think that I find that to be one of the most difficult
I
pressures.
I hear you on that
as
one.
a
Oh my
business
God,
owner,
that
yes,
is.
and we are. It's not our strength.
It
so-
is. Well, it's marketing today. You have
Yeah.
to deal with that.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
it feels overwhelming. I will say I feel particularly kind of lucky because we're so local based, our
Mhm.
business. And so I don't feel this immense pressure to use social media to get new customers because I feel like the word of mouth in town and our platters going out to events and things is the best marketing that we have. But there's always that feeling that we could be better at it.
Oh,
So
it's
I would, yeah,
it's a
I
lot
would
of
ask
work.
her to send me somebody just to handle that.
okay. Well, Catherine,
Maybe
thank
to
you.
share her.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for letting us have a
I'm
peek
so
behind the
happy you all came
scenes.
today.
Yes, it's been an absolute pleasure to be behind the scenes with you.
Yes.
That's the cheese counter.
And I think we'll have to get some cheese now.
We will. Yes.
Excellent.
All right.
Let's try some.
Okay.